It's a CHSAA New York AA showdown on a Tuesday afternoon on the Grand Concourse. From Cardinal Hayes High School in the Bronx, the Mount St. Michael Mountaineers take on the Cardinal Hayes Cardinals on the Varsity Media Sports Network. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. I'm John Perez. With just 4 games remaining in the regular season, Cardinal Hayes comes rolling into today's game. Winners of 5 straight and running roughshod through the Brooklyn-Queens portion of their schedule. However, Hayes brushed aside Lawrence Woodmere Sunday afternoon in a non-league matchup. It was a 103-63 final right here in the Bronx, and it was the most points that the Cardinals have put up in a single game, passing the 91 points that they dropped on rival St. Raymond on January 6th in Castle Hill. It's the 3rd time this season they've scored more than 85 points in a game, so we know what Hayes can do on offense. And today, they'll be led by our impact players, Ian Jackson and Elijah Moore, 2 of the top juniors in the country. Jackson, a recent North Carolina commit, is averaging 20 points a game. He can get to the hole, shoot the 3, beat you in so many ways. He's been one of the funnest players to watch in the Catholic League this year. Meanwhile, on the other side, for Elijah Moore, he doesn't have as many tools, but his one tool is his lethal shooting. He is a lockdown shooter from deep, averaging 15 points a game and shooting north of 60% from beyond the arc, especially here in the Bronx. As head coach Joe Lodes says that he's the best shooter he's ever seen, and as Lodes has been around the block for more than 20 years, that quote saying things. So Mount will have their hands full, and the Mountaineers are a team that doesn't score a lot. They're averaging under 50 points a game this season, but have one of the best defensive teams in the league. Case in point, they held Archbishop Stepinac, Christ the King, and St. Francis Prep to under 60 points each. No easy feat. So how do they do it? Well, let's meet our impact players from Mount. Their head coach Tom Frere says Izzy Milan is the best defender in the city. He held Boogie Flann of Stepinac to under 13 points, gave Kadir Martin fits at St. Peter's, and will draw the assignment on Jackson today. He's averaging 7.8 points a game. Meanwhile, Elijah Williams Rivera is the bounciest player in the gym today, and he will get the nod to stop Elijah Moore from leaking out and hitting a 3. It's not easy, but if Mount keeps Jackson and Moore to under their averages, they'll have a shot of pulling off the upset and picking up their first league win of the season. Just a couple minutes away from tip-off here, let's meet the starting lineups. And we'll go first for the visitors, the Mount St. Michael Mountaineers, who come in at 6-15, 0-14 in league play. And we already saw Milan and Williams Rivera. Devon Taylor, the senior, getting the nod and the start today for the Mountaineers. And how about the super sophomore, Caleb Andige? Now, the issue with Andige this year is that he'll get into foul troubles because he's just so aggressive down low. And he's somebody to keep an eye on for, especially in the matchup with Steven Solano, the tallest player for Cardinal Hayes, and Kevin Collado, one of 2 captains. He and Milan, both the senior captains on this Mount squad, looking to pick up their first league win of the season. So that's the starting lineup for the Mountaineers. Let's meet the starting 5 for the Cardinal Hayes Cardinals, who come in at 10-9, but 9-4 in league play. They're in second place in the CHSAA AA. Moore and Jackson, Adam Njai back in the point guard spot today after coming off the bench in Cardinal Hayes' win over Bishop Loughlin just a few days ago. Trey Lewis, the fantabulous freshman, he's been good down on the block for Cardinal Hayes this year, and somebody who, if you keep feeding him the ball, good things are going to happen. And Jaden Williams, the Lincoln College commit, he'll be headed to PA after this season ends, as Cardinal Hayes, like we mentioned, come in at 10-9 and 9-4 in conference play. So having said that, how does that all shake out in the standings? And there you see the 2 coaches, Joe Lodes on the left, Tom Frere in his 30th season. Lodes about half the time there. Well, let's look at the standings for both of these squads. So Stepinac, with only 4 games left, still mathematically can be upended by Hayes if Hayes were to win out, and they'll play each other next Tuesday up in White Plains, so that game should be a fun one to watch. But Cardinal Hayes looking for their 10th league win would keep them in pace with Stepinac, of course, from Mount St. Michael. Looks like they're going to be locked into the number 7 seed come playoff time, so either way, you still want to build some momentum. But we mentioned for Cardinal Hayes, that 10th league win would be important for them, but it would also be important for their head coach, Joe Lodes, who's coming into today sitting on 299 career wins. He and his associate coach, Tim Phillip. It's been a long road for those two, especially over the last few years, winning a couple of city championships, and there you see Lodes many moons ago and a couple of haircuts ago as well, looking for win number 300 in his 15th season at Cardinal Hayes to go along with the two CHSAA titles, the defending champs from a year ago, and spoke to Lodes yesterday, and he said he hopes that he gets it over with so that way he can just resume his day-to-day operations. He said he would love to do it against a rival like Mount, but it would just means a victory would be his 10th win of the league season for his squad, and gave a lot of credit over to Tim Phillip as well, saying that he would be nowhere without Tim Phillip and that he's just been a genius, and what an addition that Phillip has been. And he said that his 300th win is also Tim's 300th win, a guy that is not afraid to share the credit. So a couple moments before the start here at Cardinal Hayes, they'll have the anthem and lineups and tip-off when we return on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
I said there are two things that you're going to be responsible for the rest of your life, and that's your physical health and your financial health.
Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, SPORTSCAST.
Thunder, and what a look.
Photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
For the best action shots and the best angles, look no further than Varsity Media. Our experienced photographers capture your athletes' best moments right from field level. Plus, we offer great keepsakes like bobbleheads, posters, plaques, and prints. For more information about Varsity Media's photography services, contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
I said there are two things that you're going to be responsible for the rest of your life, and that's your physical health and your financial health.
Code of conduct being read here at Cardinal Hayes, as it's the Cardinal Hayes Cardinals welcoming the Mount St. Michael's Mountaineers, the local Bronx rivalry in the New York AA. Well, we know that Mount has a tall task ahead of them, and for Cardinal Hayes as well. And one thing on the mind, a city championship in Cardinal Hayes, trying to get back to the final and win it again. That would give Joe Lodes his third CHSAA title along with Tim Phillip. There you see the happy crew from a year ago, Tobe Owaka, Ian Jackson, Elijah Moore, as well as many others. DJ Victory having a victorious effort as well. He was the final MVP along with Owaka. So with that said, we spoke to Tom Frere before the game yesterday, and he said that it just is going to come down to scoring the basketball. They do everything right on the boards. They do everything right defensively, but it's been tough offensively for them. Their leading scorer is Jay Port-Smith, who comes in at 9.7 points a game. And so having said that, let's look into our keys of the game on both sides. And What Frere is saying is right. Get back in transition. Cardinal Hayes likes to go up and down and leak out, and that's exactly what they don't want to have happen. You can't give up the open looks, especially to a lethal shooter like Elijah Moore, and not to say that Moore is the only shooter on Hayes. In fact, Hayes shooting nominally better in their home gym. They love the cozy confines of the Grand Concourse, and of course, no forced shots. This is a Cardinal Hayes team that is very lengthy, can make you pay, and you don't want to force anything up. Meanwhile, on the other side for Cardinal Hayes, Joe Loge joked that he wants to print out shirts that say, pass the ball, pass the ball. And the reason he said that is he feels his team just dribbles too much, and that'll cause all of the turnovers. And he's looking to lock down those keys for the game. Of course, rebound the basketball as a team mentality and get out in transition, something that Frere is looking to avoid. Cardinal Hayes in their home whites with the cardinal and gold trimming. And Mount St. Michael in the maize and blue, as it's Caleb Andige and Ian Jackson to tap it off. And Captain Jack wins the opening tip for Cardinal Hayes. Looking for their 10th league win of the season. It's Njai matched up with J. Port Smith. This should also be a fun matchup. So this is a game that's loaded with matchup galore. Here's Jackson. Williams Rivera skips it to the corner. Moore keyed up with Milan, dumps it underneath. And Cardinal Hayes can't get it to go. That was Trey Lewis who was disrupted, the 6'2 freshman, who was averaging 6 points a game. And Mount on the other end. This is Caleb Andige. Milan, the C opens up, throws it up, can't finish. And Tom Frere saying that his team has gotten many good open looks. You just got to score the basketball. And Trey Lewis redeems himself. He's somebody who will dive into the scorer's table and not afraid to attack the basket as Cardinal Hayes scores their first 2 points of the afternoon. Kelvin Collado, the captain, cans the jumper. Collado averaging 8.1 points a game. He's somebody who's good 15 feet and in, and you could see him do just that. Corner pop doesn't fall for Jaden Williams, the Lincoln commit. But Mount turns it over, back the other way, and an easy deuce for Lewis as he's got all 4 of the Hayes points. Elijah Williams Rivera, we mentioned his bounciness as Moore forces him to defer. Fall-away jumper, Smith doesn't get the roll. And Moore outlets up ahead. This is Lewis, skips it over. Jackson going at the Mount captain and is fouled on the way up. As Collado picks up his first and the team's first of the afternoon. And here is Jackson at the line, the number 2 class of 2024 player ranked by ESPN. Missing the first free throw. He's a 62% free throw shooter. Will take his talents to the University of North Carolina. After his Hayes career, sticks the second. Found it interesting, Ian Jackson was live streaming the Duke North Carolina game Saturday afternoon. And when things looked a little grim for the Tar Heels, suddenly ended the stream. Not sure if there was frustration there. We'll say maybe the power went out. Who knows, but boy, it'll be fun to see Jackson play on Tobacco Road. Ball ping-pongs around, scooped up Njai with the left hand. And Cardinal Hayes soaring out of the gate. They go up 7-2. Milan is trapped, throws it away. Skipped up ahead. Jackson, nice find underneath. Elijah Moore. Tic-tac-toe, go the Hayesmen. They lead it by 7 early on. Tom Frere calls a timeout, and he'll talk it over with his team. Let's take another look. And Cardinal Hayes in transition. It started with Williams Jackson, the pretty hooked pass, and Moore. You know what he could do from distance, but he gets it done in the paint. As Frere will talk it over with his team. And, you know, for Cardinal Hayes, they are not resting on their laurels. They know that they've got a long road ahead of them after today's game, and you look at the opponents that they have coming up after today. You've got St. Raymond's and you've got St. Francis Prep. Both of those will be Varsity Media Sportscast before heading to White Plains to take on Stepinac. Now, of course, you want to take advantage of the 2 divisional games. And obviously, you want to beat Stepinac and redeem yourselves for the season opening loss in the beginning of the season. Especially it was the Boogie Flange show here on the Grand Concourse. Really disrupting the party. So, having said that, though, it would be something for Cardinal Hayes if they can knock off St. Francis Prep. That should be a fun one. A Super Sunday matchup on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Dylan Butler and myself will be on the call from here in the Bronx. Kelvin Collado with his team trailing by 7 and 13 to shoot. Nice feed underneath Andigue with the flush. Andigue's so good moving without the ball, and he could get into the lane. He's like a Mack truck, and when he's got momentum, you don't want to stand in front of him. Jackson. Backdoor cut. Moore with the flush. And Moore with 4 points in the paint as Mount turns it over. And Cardinal Hayes takes over. Josh Thompson makes his first appearance of the afternoon. 6'4" sophomore. Somebody with tremendous upside wearing number 24 in maize and blue. 4:45 to play, first quarter. Moore been getting it done on the inside. Dishes it off, Jackson slips, and it's a turnover. So Jackson blows a tire, and Mount trying to make this a 2-possession game, and Cardinal Hayes just so imperative for them to get off to a hot start and not give Mount any hope, and that's what they've done so well over this 5-game winning streak. But there's the counter. Jay Portsmith. That makes it a 5-point game in the first. 4:20 to play. Jackson to Njai. Njai, nice feed, and the follow doesn't fall for Lewis, the freshman. Second chance? No, sir. And Dige with the carom. Telegraphs the pass. Moore thought he had it. And here's Milan. And Dige looking underneath in the post. Here's Collado. In the corner, Milan and Jackson. Interesting, we haven't seen Milan play a lot of defense on Jackson, but Jackson gets the assignment on Milan. Pull-up pop doesn't fall for Andigue. And here comes Cardinal Hayes. Moore, hoist. Planks it off the back iron, the follow, Lewis, not that time. Boy, the freshman's had some golden opportunities. He's already got 4 points in the first quarter, but not able to add to a scoring total. As Milan drives baseline and gets the bucket. Joe Lode's not happy with the defensive effort along the baseline. As Mount making this a 3-point game, a full timeout taken by Lodes. But look at Milan. Switches into second gear. Williams doesn't pick him up because he has to stay home with Andigue. And that's exactly what Lodes is talking about to Jackson. Let's take a look at the upcoming Varsity Media Sportscast this week. And boy, it's full of Cardinal Hayes and some Long Island matchup. Friday night, a nice doubleheader. Of course, tune in to the Varsity Media Sports Network at 4:30 p.m. A Bronx rivalry, St. Raymond and Cardinal Hayes. And then St. Mary at Holy Trinity, as Holy Trinity is honoring former Titan star and Titan legend Matt Doherty, the former UNC player and UNC coach, Notre Dame coach, by retiring his number. Of course, you've got St. Francis Prep and Cardinal Hayes, and then you'll see Holy Trinity again in Mineola to take on Chaminade on a Valentine's evening showdown on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Moore whips it over. Here's Lewis. Moore spots up from 3. Can't dial it in. Going to the deck, Lewis. Moore thought about it. Attacks, and then the kick out. Jackson with some space. In and out. Another offensive rebound, Williams. Njai. Good fake. Past Andigue. What a crafty move. Adam Njai with a little razzle-dazzle. And Cardinal Hayes goes up 5. Milan launches. Can't connect from 3. And here's Jackson. Moore closed out by Thompson. Njai, past Collado, over Andigue. The tier runner doesn't go. And Mount will take over. Milan, the co-captain, with Kelvin Collado saying that, or Tom Fresh saying that the two of them really bring it to practice day to day, and both show-me guys, not exactly the raw guy. And that's a good thing. You have to lead by example, especially when things aren't going your way. Moore on the closeout. Nice dish underneath. The 1-2 punch. Moore to Jackson, and Hayes is soaring. They're up 7. And Andigue, the one-handed jam. Oh, the nice feed by Milan. And Mount hanging around, only a 5-point game, under 75 seconds to play, opening quarter. Njai. Kicks off Lewis. The 10-footer doesn't fall. And final minute to play. And here comes Mount. Mount has gotten the stops when they've needed to. Trying to make this a one-possession game going into the second quarter. Milan and Jackson. Whips to the wing. Smith launches the 3. Not that time. And Lewis, who's been active all afternoon down low. Collado thought he had the tie-up, but picks up his second foul of the half. As both teams with a substitution, Owen Zybel and Jermel Thomas. Magic Mel, the freshman duo with Zybel, checking in for Cardinal Hayes. And Elijah Williams-Rivera checks in. Shot clock turned off, and Hayes will slow it down. As Magic Mel will take his time. Somebody who was dealing with injuries earlier this year but is rounded into form. Finds Moore to Jackson. Again, it's automatic. Third time in the quarter those two have connected. With 2 seconds to go, Milan lets it fly, can't hit it, and that does it. 1 quarter in the books. Cardinal Hayes with a 17-10 lead over Mount here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, SPORTSCAST.
Under, and what a look.
Photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Second quarter set to begin here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Cardinal Hayes with a 17-10 lead here on the Grand Concourse. As Ian Jackson and Elijah Moore combining for 8 of the 17 points. Trey Lewis with 4 points in the first quarter. As Mount at times showing up defensively, but not able to stop the vaunted 1-2 punch of Moore and Jackson. Caleb Andigue calling for it as Steven Solano checks in for the first time this afternoon. He picks up the assignment on Andigue and dishes over to Josh Thompson. And the ticky-tack foul will be called on Jackson. That's his first. For Mount, along with and Dige and Thompson. It's Elijah Williams-Rivera along with Jay Port-Smith and Izzy Milan. Cardinal Hayes, it's Ian Jackson, Steven Solano, Owen Zeibel, Jamel Thomas, and Elijah Moore. Pull up pop, Rivera. Not that time, and Dige tries to corral it, but Zeibel, the freshman, gets it to his fellow first-year member, Magic Mel, has it stripped. We'll stay with Cardinal Hayes, 29 to shoot. Joe Load saying that when you watch Thomas in practice, you just see the athleticism. Moore, corner three, book it. Don't let Elijah Moore get hot. He's got 6 points in the first half, and Cardinal Hayes goes up 10. Milan, denied. The volleyball spike for Steven Solano. And 22 to shoot. Let's take another look. You know, Solano is 6'11". Looks like he's got the wingspan of someone who's 11'6". And it didn't even have to jump that high. Minute gone by, second quarter. Mount trying to cut into this 10-point lead of Cardinal Hayes. And Dige with some space. Can't flush it. Jackson to Zeibel. The freshman hoist. Doesn't get the roll. Student section thought it was halfway down. Of course, the softer rims here at Cardinal Hayes. As Smith throws it towards Thompson. Milan picks up the loose change. Thompson, corner three, cash. Thompson only averaging 5 points a game, an athletic sophomore. That is only going to get better as time goes on, says his head coach, Tom Frere. 6:10 to play. Jackson, the fall away, not that time. Reversing course, and Dige to Williams-Rivera. One of the other keys that Tom Frere mentioned, but we didn't put up there, is along with not forcing any shots, to kind of wind down the shot clock as well. And his goal is to give Cardinal Hayes 10 to 15 less offensive possessions. Of course, when Mel's pushing the paint and scoring coast to coast, it's tough to do that. Magic Mel with his first points of the afternoon. Smith with some separation, can't finish. Thompson slips it inside, then coughs it up. Thomas, the find to Jackson. And a little too late on the pass. Hayes with the giveaway. And Adam Njai checks in for Elijah Moore. As Cardinal Hayes leads it by 9 with 5:15 to play in the first half. Smith, only a junior, gives it to Milan, the captain senior. The senior captain, excuse me. Smith. Around the arc, Thompson. 6 to shoot. And Dige, bump from behind. And a late whistle, that'll go against Solano. And that's Steven Solano's first. And the team's second of the half. Antoine Katako, the 6'5 junior, averaging 3 points a game. Checks in for the Maize and Blue. And a fresh 35 to shoot as well. Smith picks up his dribble. Collado going at Zeibel. And Zeibel picks up the foul. And it's his first. As Moore comes back on, and Zeibel comes up limping, as you see him at the top of your screen, going to the scorer's table. Or excuse me, the trainer's table. Collado, nice finish in traffic over Moore. As Njai gets direction and runs the show on the wing. Njai towards Thomas, and Thomas just never moved. And the turnover, and that was one of the keys that Joe Lodes talked about. And perhaps looking for a T-shirt vendor in the near future, saying pass the ball, and you'd have to imagine possessions like that make them really want to run up the bill. Katako calling for Milan. Smith and Thomas. The fall away. J-Port Smith off the heel. Smith up ahead. Mel all alone. Off the backboard. Ian Jackson. Freshman to junior. What a slam. Ian Jackson. Cardinal Hayes up 9. Here's another run out. It's Njai all alone, scooping it in. The Hayesmen are flying in the first half as they go up 9 with 3.5 to play. Oh boy, let's take another look at those. It started on the turnover. Jackson up ahead to Njai all alone. A nice little drop in. 4 unanswered points, but this perhaps the play of the week. Off the mount miss. It started with Jackson. Magic Mel to Captain Jack with the treasure. This Cardinal Hayes team is just so athletic. And, you know, you see Jackson going to North Carolina. Well, Cardinal Hayes and Joe Lodes have had 50 players play at the next level. Then you see Joe Toussaint at West Virginia, Tobey Awaka, the Gatorade Player of the Year in New York State last year, Tyrese Williams, Jalen Murray. But to Tyrese Williams, Adam Cisse, and Joe Toussaint, of course, all part of that CHSAA championship team in the 2016-17 season. And the list goes on and on. Over and back. And Hayes will take over. Caleb Andige checks in, along with Makai Philogene. Moore tees up the 3. Not that time. Now trying to hang around. Here's Philogene. Andige has it stripped as Njai goes to the deck. Good job by Williams to force it free. Pass almost picked off. And a good effort getting back by Josh Thompson. And Hayes to shoot with 31 on the ticker. Njai. Williams driving baseline. Now feeds it over to Moore. Timeout taken. So an inadvertent whistle. And Cardinal Hayes will take over. Just in front of the operation with 18 to shoot. Jackson and Milan. Here's Moore. Touch foul. And check that, it's a travel. Far side official making the call as Cardinal Hayes still leads it by 11 with 2.5 to play in the first half. Thompson. Pull-up jumper. Collado flushes it. The captain gets it to fall. 4 points in the first half for Collado. And here's Njai. Moore and Collado. Fires a 3. Not that time, as Cardinal Hayes hasn't really gotten it done from beyond the arc. But it's been their transitional game that's led to their 9-point advantage. A whistle afterwards and a timeout taken by Joe Lodes. talk it over with his team. And I'm not sure if they really wanted to take that timeout. Just looking at the bench, Philp and Lodes looking at each other afterwards, and I guess kind of asking who's called the timeout, and either way they'll take it. But take a look at the standings here in the CHSAA AA, New York AA. Hayes trying to keep pace with Stepanak, and they'll have their opportunity to do so. A win here today, a win against St. Raymond, and a win against Stepanak. Of course, they're going to need some help. Stepanak will have to lose as well. But still an opportunity for Cardinal Hayes to seek revenge on Boogie Fland, this time at his place. And, talking to Dylan Butler in the Bishop Laughlin game, the Bishop Laughlin Christ the King game, I don't know how you can't vote for Boogie Fland as Player of the Year in the CHSAA with what he's been able to do this year. And just how much the coaches rave about him, and that's who's making the votes too. Here's Njai. To the cup, offhand, it's good. Final 70 seconds, first half. Here's Andige. Milan. The runner doesn't fall. Solano gets the rebound. Mel, a three. Not that time. Williams, fresh possession. Njai, the floater is true. Adam Njai with 6 points in the first half as Cardinal Hayes goes up a baker's dozen. Milan bumped from behind by Thomas. As Thomas picks up his first. Foul number 4 on Hayes. As the shot clock turns off, final 30 seconds to play in half number 1. Milan and Lewis. Here's Milan, top of the key. Shakes off the screen. Attacks the basket, denied. Solano, his second block of the half. We saw the block earlier for Solano, and he just continues to guard the paint. 10.6 remaining in the first half. Fall-away jumper, Collado, not that time. And who grabs the rebound but Steven Solano? Njai, coast to coast, tries to award his big man, but it goes off his fingers. Ball rolls out of bounds as the clock expires. They'll put some time back, you'd have to imagine, probably 2 seconds. But either way, for Cardinal Hayes, you have to be happy with what they've been able to do in the second half, in the second quarter. Outscoring Mount 13-7. The giveaway. Give them 15 points in the second quarter. Adam Njai catches Mount napping as Cardinal Hayes takes a 32-17 lead going into the locker room. As you see, Collado is ready to go. And Njai just picking the pocket and a scoop layup for Njai. He's got 8 in the first half. Halftime here at Cardinal Hayes. The Cardinals are soaring. They lead it 32-17. Third quarter coming up next on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
If you're an event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event, look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Hi, I'm Gene Sterator, CBS Rules Analyst and longtime sports official. For the adults watching this video, you grew up in a world where officials, umpires, and referees for youth sports took their place regularly and reliably ahead of game time. Today, unfortunately, it's getting harder and harder to fill those jobs. Videos showing abusive treatment of officials multiply on social media. And there have been consequences for the dreadful behavior of players, fans, and coaches. Massive shortages of officials now lead to games being canceled, and the positive effects of athletic competition are at critical risk for this generation and those to come. I'm hoping we all can begin to see youth competition through a different lens. Today, mistreatment of officials has become normalized, and we are facing an abnormal future where no officials to hire means no games on the schedule.
Any call, any decision, any human effect on wins and losses has become subject to not just withering criticism, but physical threats. There's a vicious cycle at work. Fans chase away officials, and there is a smaller pool to draw from, which makes it harder to get quality, well-trained people in position. The entire game suffers.
Did you know, according to the National Federation of High Schools, 80% of new officials quit the game after just 2 seasons because of abusive behavior from the stands and sidelines? This sort of verbal abuse and threatening behavior takes a toll on all officials and makes them leave the game altogether.
Did you know, from 2018 to 2022, an estimated 50,000 high school referees, roughly 20%, have quit. Half of the remaining referee population is at least 50 years old, but young officials are rarely staying more than 3 years in the job.
If the number of officials working contests in all sports doesn't begin to increase, there won't be enough officials to work the games. That means schedules will get cut, teams or even sports might get canceled. In many states, this is already happening.
Remember that officials are invested in what they do. Many officials have regular, full-time jobs, and they're sacrificing time away from their families. Try to demonstrate empathy, put yourself in their position. Think how you would feel about getting yelled at throughout your workday.
Yelling and arguing with officials sends the wrong message to young players. According to Play by the Rules sports advocacy, it teaches them that it's not okay to make a mistake. They can blame others for their actions. They can disrespect authority figures. And it's okay to be rude and selfish.
You know, officials enforce rules, keep competitions fair, and make player safety a priority, allowing youth sports to be a valuable arena for growth. If we can all just work together and be more empathetic to not just the officials, but everyone else in youth and high school sports, we can then preserve what many of us have embraced about athletics. And you and I know the benefits of sports, right? Let's spread that gratitude and be proud of what we can build and not blind to how it's being torn down. calling officials cheaters or corrupt, it's not a game.
Insulting referees, it's not a game.
Threatening officials, it's not a game.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes, it's not a game.
Violent language in the stands, it's not a game.
Verbal abuse from the sideline, it's not a game.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot, it's not a game.
So what happens now? Your response in the heat of the moment is the only thing you totally control, and we have an experiment for you to try. Simply stated, just cheer for your child or the team you're there to support. Move that desire to lash out to a different place and encourage without rage. Your child's sporting memory should be about how you helped inspire and not about how you caused embarrassment.
If you're an event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event, look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
I said there are two things that you're going to be responsible for the rest of your life. And that's your physical health and your financial health.
For the best action shots and the best angles, look no further than Varsity Media. Our experienced photographers capture your athletes' best moments right from field level. Plus, we offer great keepsakes like bobbleheads, posters, plaques, and prints. For more information about Varsity Media's photography services, contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, SPORTSCAST,
Under, and what a look.
photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
We begin the second half with Cardinal Hayes leading Mount St. Michael 32-17. Here on the Grand Concourse as Cardinal Hayes looks to pick up their 11th win of the year. 10th league win, and more importantly for the individual record of Joe Lodes winning his 300th career game as Ian Jackson starts Cardinal Hayes off on the right foot. Jackson with 6 points in the first half as the lead has doubled, or Cardinal Hayes has doubled the lead of Mount. Izzy Milan, the handoff to J. Port Smith. Off the screen, dishes off Collado. And Dige swarmed, taken away. Here's more. And Jai to Jackson. Jackson, that triple threat position. Fall away three. Clanks off the back iron. Good strip, Lewis. Second chance, Njai with some space. Can't drill it, and Andige clears. One and done for Mount. Jackson, nice feed to Williams, can't complete it. Njai with a fresh shot clock. To the corner, Moore, hoist, and dials it in. Second triple for Elijah Moore. And Cardinal Hayes leads by 20. Well, that's something that Lowe's loves to see. Njai sharing the sugar. Collado dumps underneath. Rivera is stripped, but the foul will go to Williams. As Jaden Williams picks up his first and the team's first of the quarter.
Teams first. At the line, shooting 2. Elijah Williams Rivera.
As the free throw falls for Elijah Williams Rivera, a player who Fresh said you love the verticality, can jump out of the gym. He can make shots versus a zone, but Hayes has played man-to-man. Someone who will grab a healthy share of rebounds, and that's what Mount has done this year. And, you know, holding Cardinal Hayes to 37 points is good as another jumper falls. That's inside the arc from Moore. Or check that. They'll call it a 3. Either way, a 40-18 lead for Hayes. The issue for Mount, just rearing its ugly head, is they haven't been able to score. Batted away. Here's Jackson, alone, again. Yes, sir! What an incredible talent. Captain Jack showing out on a Tuesday afternoon on the Grand Concourse. Here it is again. Here's Moore. It's his time. Welcome to the Slam Fest. Cardinal Hayes jumping out of the gym. Frere calls a timeout as the Hayesmen are soaring on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Here's Moore. How about an encore? And then, of course, we'll wait for the other one, but oh boy, this is what Jackson can do so well. Get ready, Tobacco Road. Here he comes. So Mount will talk it over. You know, I'm sitting next to the immortal Chris Sweeney, and we were talking at halftime thinking, okay, that's probably the play of the week, the off-the-backboard dunk. Because how many more times is Mount going to give up a fast break dunk? And Chris, he's not wearing the mic, he's just nodding his head. I mean, anytime I say something, Chris agrees with me, because that's what makes him the best producer. Is that Cardinal Hayes are just so athletic. And Moore and Jackson can throw it down with the rest of them. Here's J-Port Smith. Shaded by Njai, gets tangled up. Njai threw his hands up, and he's got an argument. Smith slipped. But, of course, the vantage point for the official, you've got to call the foul there. Milan. Pass deflected. Jackson, Moore, again. Just a little layup. The tease from Moore. But Cardinal Hayes goes up 28. Williams Rivera, walled off. Has to dish it away. Intercepted Jackson, and then taken away by Smith. Good job staying with the play. 4:30 to play in the third. Milan spots up from 3. Can't connect. Jackson, does he have another one? No, sir. But Moore the follow. Hey, it happens to the best of them, and I guess Ian Jackson is human. Jackson takes it away. Act 3. Through the legs, but there's Moore. And Frere calling a timeout. Talk it over to his team. And I'm sure for Loads, too. Telling his guys, hey, we know you've got the athleticism, but maybe let's reel it in. As Moore able to put it in. You know, I read a quote somewhere that Ian Jackson said he wants to be a one and done. And you'd have to imagine that any player, when you're playing at a Power 5 school and have had as such a decorated career as Jackson does, that your goals and objectives should be to play in the NBA and to not only play in the NBA but be a star. That's why he's a different breed. We're starting to see it here. We saw it from a former North Carolina player and one and done, Cole Anthony, join the slam dunk contest. Why not have Jackson join that slam dunk contest as well? So Joe Lode's emptying his bench. It's Canoon Larry joining the bunch. Nas Simmons on the floor. Jamel Thomas, Steven Solano, and Tyleek Fields. As they'll reset the shot clock to 22. But a good opportunity for Cardinal Hayes to rest their starters, and I'm sure Lodes doesn't want to deploy them in the second half if he doesn't have to. But you always talk about practicing and get ready for the next game, but of course getting through this game and getting through it healthy. Cardinal Hayes are not entirely deep, and you don't want to have an injury or something happen in the second half in a game that you clearly have control of. So having said that, this is a grand opportunity for a player like Tyleek Fields along with Canoon Larry to play themselves and to get some quality minutes against another opponent and not just their teammates. And you never know what happens in the playoffs. There's injuries. There could be some foul trouble. You might just be undermanned. And whatever that situation is, it's the next man up. And for Cardinal Hayes, a team that wasn't particularly deep last year and got away with it, and of course their talent was certainly enough to overcome that as Jamel Thomas gets the bucket. This is a great opportunity for players like Thomas, Larry, and Fields to get ample amount of playing time. And Dige cans the mid-range jumper. And Andige's been an interesting player, and you know, Mount doesn't have that Division I player, and Frere was very honest about that, and he said if Izzy Milan can score the basketball, even if he was averaging probably 15 to 20 points a game, he'd get some low D1 offers. But he could be a really good Division III player, and there's some quality Division IIIs around the area. And you have to think, too, when you go to a great school like Mount St. Michael's, NYU's in play, Trinity, even some CUNYAC schools would love to have the services of Izzy Milan. Of course, Izzy Milan could play in the CUNYAC today, and he'd be a first-team all-conference as the jumper falls. Nas Simmons gets the bucket and a happy bench of Jackson, Njai, and more. To the wing, Thompson. Good ball fake, then to Swarmed. Fires it underneath, but goes through the wickets of Collado. And Cardinal Hayes takes over with 2:07 to play in the third. Cardinal Hayes is in good hands in the future. Here's Solano, the skyhook. Can't get it to fall. Larry, not that time. Larry, a crowd favorite. And getting some razzing from what I'd assume are his friends in the crowd. Tapped up ahead. Simmons couldn't control it. And Dige declined. Fields. It'll stay with Mount and a fresh 35. Smith up top. Makai Philogene. 75 seconds to go in the third. The runner, yes, and the foul. Makai Philogene has a good second step. And Tom Frere saying that he's been the most pleasant surprise this year, the 5'11 junior, averaging 5.7 points a game. Could be a bit wild at times, but he can make a shot, and you saw a nice move to the rim. The issue is they just haven't come in the bunches that Mount is hoping for. as Philogene gets 3 the old-fashioned way. And Fields crosses the timeline. Simmons. Simmons, of course, part of that JV championship team a couple of years ago. Underneath Larry, poked away. Philogene, nice hands. Thompson, coast to coast. The bump, Collado can't clean it up as Larry storms in for the rebound and feeds it up ahead. Here's Simmons. Simmons, the fall-away jumper, not that time. Larry, no sir. Here's Solano, puts it on the deck and scores. But first you don't succeed, try again. Solano with offers from Bryant, Fordham, Georgia Tech, Nebraska, South Carolina, and Virginia Tech, just to name a few, or 6. Gets his first bucket of the second half, and it'll be Mount Ball with 11.5 to play in the third. Scoop layup, Philogene again. With 3 seconds to go in the third, Cardinal Hayes won't get a shot off. But either way, a valiant effort for Cardinal Hayes as they lead it by 31 going into the fourth quarter. Joe Loads 8 minutes away from his 300th career win. And we'll be back for the conclusion of that on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
If you're an event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event, look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Back here on the Varsity Media Sports Network, it's all Cardinal Hayes. They lead it 56-25. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. I'm John Perez. Thank you so much for making us a part of your Tuesday afternoon. A Bronx rivalry on the Grand Concourse, Mount and Cardinal Hayes. As Jamel Thomas kicks it over to Jaden Williams, who hoists a 3 and can't connect. That's the one thing that Cardinal Hayes has not been able to do today. Only knocked down 3 threes. They're a team that can fill the cup from distance, as Makai Philogene with 7 points over the last 2 minutes. And Elijah Moore comes back on for Cardinal Hayes. So after Loads benching his starters, up 28, he puts Moore back onto the floor. And here comes Mount with 7:20 to play in the fourth. Moore picks up Smith. Philogene's had the hot hand. Eyes the freshman, defers up top. 12 to shoot. Here's Andigue, the handoff to Smith. Philogene. Andigue back to the basket, over Moore. Score it. Good little hook shot by Andigue, and he's another player that can cause fits in perhaps the ECC or the Division II level, the CACC. Somebody who can disrupt and good rebounder as well. Smith denied by Williams, but a foul. So Jaden Williams will pick up his second, and the team's fourth of the half. And heading to the line is Jay Port Smith. Somebody who was thrown into the starting lineup and has been coming off the bench over the last month, as Tom Frere deferring to use Smith off the bench and out of that starting five, but also just play more with the bigs and curtailing his team to play to its strength, which is rebounding and blocking shots, and you want to get as much size down low as possible. .6:20 to play in the fourth. Njai. The little floater falls. That's been a pretty shot for Njai. As Cardinal Hayes goes up 26. Philogene again. Boy, he's been the player of the second half for Mount. Moore fires, can't connect. Solano, the offensive rebound, can't bank it in either. Smith up ahead. To the wing, Thompson gets checked by Williams. Collado jarred off by Moore. Philogene floats it to the corner, and an offensive foul. Makai Philogene going right into the breadbasket of Jaden Williams as Ian Jackson checks in for Cardinal Hayes with 5:21 to go in the fourth quarter, and Cardinal Hayes in control. Abubakar Sila checks in for Mount. Njai can't finish. Solano cleans it up and banks it in. Steven Solano's been efficient on the glass and has been a stopper this season down low for Cardinal Hayes. Forces the pass, but it falls down. That's Antigue, the sophomore. Played FIBA under 16 for Chad in the African Championship. .435 to play, and it rattles in. That's J-Port Smith, averaging 10 points a game. He's at that number now. As Frere calls a full timeout. And with that said, if you like today's game or want to keep an eye on Catholic League matchup, well, Catholic League in the five boroughs and on Long Island, Friday night, a doubleheader. St. Raymond taking on Cardinal Hayes at 4:30. And then at 7 p.m., Matt Doherty, enshrined in the Holy Trinity Hall of Fame, being honored with his jersey retirement, going up into the rafters. One of the greatest Titans of all time. They take on St. Mary's. And a Super Sunday matchup. Queens versus the Bronx. St. Francis Prep looking to gain position on Christ the King and lock down the number 2 seed in the Brooklyn Queens as they take on the Cardinals. And then, of course, Holy Trinity takes on Chaminade. Valentine's evening matchup in Mineola. So Mount pressing Jackson with 4:23 to play in the fourth. Here's Solano to Njai. Jackson, a three. Can't hit it. And here's Smith. Fall away jumper, not that time. Solano, the quick hitter, throws it up ahead. Moore tries to save it. Goes right over to Katako. Thompson, ball fake. Philogene. Katako over Solano, not that time. Jackson gets the board. Jackson over to Williams, no, but a foul. So here's Williams, headed to Lincoln College after this season ends. A quiet leader for Cardinal Hayes, but the glue guy gets a lot of good looks at the basket, and we saw that today. And someone who's not primarily on the scouting report, but he should be, based on what he's been able to do. Here's Solano. Nice feed underneath, and there's Williams once again. Unchecked, and Williams gets the bucket. .320 to play in the fourth. Philogene throws it up and connects. What a second half for Makai Philogene. He's got 14. And here's Njai. Under 3 to play, Williams to Moore. Attacking from the wing, the fall away. Oh, Elijah Moore, you can't stop him. The future Syracuse Orange, wearing number 1 like Hakeem Warwick on the 2003 National Championship team. Mount can't complete it, and Solano dishes over to Williams. Moore, does he have another one? Yes, sir! Elijah Moore from downtown. Give Williams the assist, but Elijah Moore heating up, scoring 5 consecutive points and knocking down the 3 over Katako. It's just so easy. Joe Load saying that he is the best shooter that he's ever coached. Taking his talents to Syracuse and playing in the ACC. And I'll tell you what, the Grand Concourse, the grand opposite of what he'll be seeing at the Carrier Dome. An interesting place to play, obviously on top of a football field that's constructed onto a basketball court in the winter. And fans, if you haven't already, be sure to follow us on social media. First start on YouTube, youtube.com/Varsity Media, then on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Varsity Media. We are a couple of followers away, a handful of followers away from 15,000 followers on Instagram, and there's a prize, a team interview that we are giving away. And what you have to do is you have to follow and tag 3 friends to become eligible for a full team interview. And at least from the city side, we've been seeing a lot of love from the Christ the King crew over the last couple of days. Kind of interesting, the Varsity Media bump. After you do a Christ the King game, then their fans start to tweet at you and vice versa. Meanwhile, Philogene unconscious in the second half. This is Trey Lewis, the runner, banks it in. Tatako, 15-footer doesn't fall, taps back out. This is Kojo Okra, the 6'2 senior. Okra to Sela. Well, ping-pongs around. Katako, whacked from behind by Larry. And Canute Larry picks up his first. Foul number 5 on Hayes, with a book 25 to go in the second half and in the fourth quarter. Bam Robinow checks in for Mount as Makai Philogene heads to the bench, and a lot to be happy for if you're Makai Philogene. Had himself a heck of a second quarter. Thomas ping-pongs around, is whacked on his way to the basket. Romanu picks up his first. Only Mount's fourth. 1:13 to go, flipped into the wing. Here's Lewis, steps into a three. Bingo. Trey Lewis, one of the best freshmen in the city, canning the triple. And the final minutes of play in the fourth, and what has been a Hayes rout. Thomas out of the pack. Thomas, the handles, the athleticism, no sir. That's a charge. Well, you have to love the handles leading to the highlight, but at the end of the day, it's an offensive foul. He's got all the traits to take the Catholic League by storm over the next few years. Take it away, Lewis. It's another freshman, Lewis. Blocked from behind by Romano. But is whacked, and he'll head to the free throw line with 28.4 seconds to play. So Lewis got the start today, was effective in the first half, and nails the first free throw. One more upcoming. And it's a 75 spot for Cardinal Hayes. Thrown up ahead. Lewis pulls it back out, and that should do it. A wire-to-wire victory for Cardinal Hayes as Elijah Moore and Ian Jackson get it done. Magic Mel, a fantastic facilitator. And as the clock winds out, Joe Loads picks up career win number 300 in his career at Cardinal Hayes, a 75-46 final. Congratulations to head coach Joe Loads. And there you see the league titles, Archdiocese titles, New York City titles. And what a record. 300 wins and 74 losses as Cardinal Hayes wins it, 75-46. We'll be back in a moment to talk it over here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
I said there are two things that you're going to be responsible for the rest of your life. And that's your physical health and your financial health.
Back here on the Varsity Media Sports Network, Cardinal Hayes with the victory today over Mount. And we are joined by the newest member of the 300 Win Club, Joe Loads. 300 wins, what does it mean?
Means I'm getting old, means I had a bunch of good players. Means I have, we have an excellent president of basketball operations, John Duffy. We have a great board of trustees who support us, Don and Dave Almeida, Kevin Reed, Jim Hines, Sal Hadico, the list is long. I'm just very thankful. You know, I have great players. I have a great wife. I had to get that in.
There you go. Well, you know, when you first got this job, did you think this was a possibility? Did you think you'd be around long enough to see 300 wins at Cardinal Hayes? Did you, tell me about what you were thinking or what you would tell a young Joe Loads?
You know, I remember early on in my first year I struggled, and I remember talking to the great Tom Konchowski, and he would tell me, Coach K wasn't always Coach K, and John Wooden wasn't always John Wooden, so it takes time. And I always thought that, I just have to kind of be patient and kind of figure out the right way to run a program, and eventually we'd get better. And then we got better in a hurry. But I'm blessed to have Tim Philp with me. He's really my partner in the thing. And Tim got me on the fast track to 300.
Oh, yeah, and a guy like that. I'll ask you one question about the game. A good victory going wire to wire. What did you think out of your crew today?
thought we played with good energy. I thought we shared the ball. I thought our big guy, Steven Solano, was really a difference maker inside. I thought Adam Enjar did a great job sharing the basketball. Great win today. It's nice to beat our rival, Mount St. Michael.
Oh, there you go. Joe, congratulations on the win. I'll let you go celebrate. That's Joe Lodes, newest member of the 300 Career Win Club. Yeah, appreciate it, Joe. Joe, always the diplomat here as well, and that'll do it here from Cardinal Hayes, as Cardinal Hayes wins it going away 75-46. And for our entire crew here, our executive producer Ben Turchin, technical director is Chris Sweeney, Travis DeLuise up on the sticks. This is John Perez saying so long. This has been a presentation of the Varsity Media Sports Network.